Hello, welcome back, Divisha. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. So we can conduct the class from 5 to 6 p.m. every day. Since you come school at 3 p.m., 3:30, something like that. So you can take a little nap after that. Then you can join. Will this be okay?
Yes, sir.
And will it not hamper your playing session, outdoor activity?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So if that is okay, so let's go. We will be conducting our classes from tomorrow onward at from 5 to 6 p.m. So we have previously understood about the water, and in today's session we are going to warm up with some of the question from the previous class, that is water. We understood what is water, importance of water for the industries, for the plant, for the animal, and we understood about the hydroelectricity. These are some of the topic we have previously discussed. So here is very first question for you, that why is water essential for animal? For digestion, for photosynthesis, for flight, and for reproduction.
For digestion.
You are absolutely correct. Question 2 says, which process in plant requires water? Respiration, photosynthesis, germination, and transpiration.
So photosynthesis.
You are absolutely correct. Let's have a little glimpse over other these terms, like what is respiration, so formation of energy in the plant. Transpiration is the exhale of the water from the leaf margin. It is the exit of the water. Germination is the upcoming of new shoot from the seed. And we know what photosynthesis is. Let's move on to the question number third. It says industries uses water mainly for cooling, transportation, painting, and logging.
Option 1, cooling.
You are absolutely correct. We have discussed this, and especially in reference to the data centers in the modern days technology. What sources help generate electricity, wind, cool water, and sunlight?
Water.
That's good. Question 5 says the setup of hydropower plant includes turbine, solar panel, windmill, or battery.
Turbine.
Okay, you are absolutely correct. Let's move on to the question number 6. What is the water reservoir? A water storage system, food container, type of soil, rock layer.
A water storage system.
You are absolutely correct. Moving on to the 7th, animal lose water mainly through breathing, eating, sleeping, or running.
Option 4, running.
Okay, you are absolutely correct. Option is animal lose water through breathing, sweating, and urination. No, this must be option 4, that is running and urinating and through sweating. And that happens, sweating happens only through running, not through
Yes, sir.
breathing. So it was printing error. Beg apologies for that. Question number 8 says plant absorb water through leaves, root, flowers, and fruit.
Option 2, roots.
You are absolutely correct. Industries create wastewater known as freshwater, grey water, affluent, and rainwater.
Grey water.
You are absolutely correct. Okay, no. Affluent is the wastewater released by the industrial process. So it is just an informative question. Question number 10 says hydropower is considered non-renewable, renewable, fossil fuel, and non-essential.
Option 2, renewable.
You are absolutely correct. Let's move on to the question number 11. Power of water reservoir. Type of water reservoir is a which type? dam, lake, pond, and all of these.
Option 4, all of these.
You are absolutely correct. Moving on to the question number 12. Importance of water in agriculture is irrigation, decoration, machine, fuel, and mining.
Irrigation.
You are absolutely correct. Let's move on to the question number 13. Fish need water for breathing, flying, sleeping, and hunting. Okay, stuck. So they
I think
never.
option 1.
You are absolutely
Option 1.
correct. So they take water through their gills, and in that particular water, they absorb dissolve oxygen only to only for breathing. So question number 14th, plant lose water through condensation, evaporation, transpiration, absorption.
Option 3, transpiration.
You are absolutely correct. Let's move on to the question number 15th. Hydropower plant requires high speed wind, flowing water, burning fuel, and no energy.
Flowing water.
You are absolutely correct. Let's move on to the question number 16th. Industries treat water to remove flowers, chemicals, soil, and seed.
Chemicals.
You are absolutely correct. So the explanation says chemical pollutant are removed during that particular treatment. We will be understanding about the pollutant as well in this class. Water helps regulate body temperature, sight, smell, or hearing.
Body temperature.
You are absolutely correct. The body temperature. Plant will wilt due to lack of. Wilt means we can say a kind of a dryness in plant leaf. So minerals, sunlight, water, and air.
Water.
Wilting of leaf is also happen apart from the water's scarcity. We can say apart from it is also parasitic kind of a disease we call plant wilt. We will be understanding it in the geology class. Question number 19 says large dam store water for irrigation, electricity, drinking, and all of the above.
So mainly they provide electricity, but sometimes also they send water for irrigation also.
Yeah, we can also use if this is a fresh water like river from the Himalaya, so we can also drink it. So the correct answer need to be have all of the above, isn't it?
All of these. Yes, sir.
You are absolutely correct. Let's move on to the question number 20. Hydropower reduces air pollution, water pollution, wind speed, and soil nutrients. So the question wanted to ask that if we haven't developed hydropower plant, so we are doing something else like the thermal power plant or coal burning plant to produce energy. So what is the advantage of the hydropower over other kind of energy producing plant like thermal and coal burning plant?
So it could be both air pollution and water pollution.
Okay. And also the soil nutrient to reduce soil, no, it is reduced. So it need to be air pollution and water pollution. The advantage of the so it also must be water pollution. Water can also get polluted. So both of these are options are correct. So I think we have finished the question answer in this particular slide. So let's move on to the remaining part of the class we need to discuss today. Oh, wait a moment. So in the previous class, we have discussed some of the topics. So let me just quickly revise in 2x speed what we have understood. So first of all, we have understood the importance of water for all the living organism and maintaining the body temperature and the metabolic activities. Metabolic activities include all the chemical, biological activity happening inside a living organism. If we consider of ourselves, so it is digestion, energy producing, etc., growth, essential for agricultural and the crop also. Water for industries, they are primarily use it for cooling machineries. And in today's, we can say today's scenario, they use in the water is used cooling for the data center. Essential for the generation of hydroelectricity power, we have discussed. So what is the hydroelectricity, how it is generated? So there is a minimum apparatus for this. So we need to understand, we have understood, we need to construct a dam, we need to store water over there, and we have to make a water outlet from there. And the pipe which carries these particular water, we call it penstock. And then there is also a surge tank. Also, this is not too much important. The water force and some water force and some of the other things are measured over there. We need to set a wall and importantly the turbine. So water have a potential energy due to its height and it rushes towards the lower slope and hits the turbine blade and turbine rotates. It produces mechanical energy. Then this is converted into the electric energy. Then we use as the basic law of the conservation of energy says that energy can be converted into other form. So we convert the mechanical energy into the electric one. So we understood water for the plant, for the photosynthesis, transport of the mineral from the soil, maintaining turbidity in the plant cell, and critical for the germination of seed. We know when we soak some of the seed, so it germinate a new baby shoot, we can say, come out from this particular shoot. Tragedy is the water availability in one particular cell. If it is full of water, then we call it tragedy. Transport in minerals, so in the soil, other mineral like nitrogen, magnesium, and other all essential nutrient, micro and macro, are dissolved. So water, the root absorb water, and also these important minerals are also get absorbed by the plant. So we know for the photosynthesis, CO2 and H2 are used as the reactant. So the left side of the chemical equation, we call it reactant. And they produce this particular compound C6H12O6, we call it glucose. And this is carbohydrate in case of the animal. So for plant, it is glucose. And the CO2 and oxygen and then energy. So we use that particular oxygen. This C6H12O6 is used by the plant for its energy as it contains carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. So we can say water is important for the carbohydrate and the oxygen. So these two important things are the sunlight and chlorophyll. So chlorophyll act as a battery to save energy, so it can use efficiently when requires, and they take the sunlight. We call these particular thing, we term these particular thing as a catalyst. So we define the catalyst as things which either increases or decreases the rate of chemical reaction, but do not participate on that particular reaction or remain unchanged. So the amount of energy used in this particular photosynthesis will be released after the entire process or might be used in the particular photosynthesis, but the equivalent amount of the energy must be manufactured by in this particular process. So then we understood water for plant as they absorb other minerals in the dissolved form. Then we understood rigidity. So how does a water plant cell take water inside the plant? So there is no, we can say lift or no one, nobody is getting this bucket of the water to the plant cell, they take or they exit the water or take out of the water by the process of osmosis. In that particular, it works basically on the concentration principle. So you might have heard or studied that temperature goes from high temperature to low temperature, or pressure goes from the high pressure zone to low pressure. And similar thing has in the concentration, when there is extra high concentration outside the cell and low concentration inside the cell, so the cell likely be absorb water and it will swell. And if the condition reverse, this cell will shrink, meaning it will lose water. So some kind of the water reservoir we also have understood, like artificial, like the wells, hand pump, lake, natural lake, or especially the oxbow lake when we speak up in term of the geography. Now today's class is about water as a natural solvent. So now let's first understand what is solvent, solute, and solution. We initially have understood this topic, what are the solute, solvent, and solution. So we can say a solution consists of a solute and a solvent. And now who is a solute and what is a solvent? So we can figure it out by two identities. First thing, the solute always will be in the lesser amount as compared to the solvent. So the second identity, so the things which dissolve in itself other things, we call it solvent. Like water dissolves salt in itself, we call it solvent. So when water and we can say salt mix, we call it a solution. So we have understood two identities. One is one who is at the greater extent will be solvent, lesser will be solute. And second thing, one who dissolve in itself the amount, other thing we call it solvent, and the thing which is being dissolved we call it solute. So water is used as a natural solvent, or water is also a universal solvent. Now let's understand what is natural solvent and universal solvent is. So natural solvent basically means water is produced by the nature. We don't have any role in it. And universal means it essentially approximately can combine, can dissolve everything in itself. What actually happens at the molecular level? So we are going to understand that. Water dissolves many substances. That's why it is called universal. Has ability to dissolve almost every substance into itself. Due to polarity of water molecules, help in nutrient transport and chemical reaction. Now let's understand why a water is called a universal solvent. So for that, let's understand some of the basic, we can say higher chemistry. So you will be introduced to the electronic configuration in your 8th or 9th class. So what is electronic configuration? It is a small thing. So let's try to understand this electronic configuration. So here is a condition. So there are class like in our school. So we have different classes like the LKG, UKG, class first, class second, class third. And the condition the principal set is that fix the number of student in particular class. So he says that the student in the LKG class will be lesser, the least, and there will be high student in the class UKG and in class first and class second and third. And again he put another condition. So when we have to enroll 20 student, so we can enroll. So there is a first class in the chemistry, we call it K. Then the second class we call it L. Then the third we call it M, and then the fourth we call it N. So the K, L, M, N, you can correlate it with the class 1, 2, 3, 4. So the condition that principal lay is that in the class K, there can only be 2 students. And in the class L, there can only be 8 students. In the class K, L, M, there would be maximum 18 students. And in the class N, there would be maximum 32 students. Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the first class, there would be only 2 students in the class K. And in the second class, there would be only 8 students. In the third class, there would be only 18 students. In the next class, there would be only 32 students. So if we need to recruit 20 students, so how will we do? So first we will put 2 students into the first class. Then how many students we have left now is 18 students. So we have to put 8 students into the second class. Now we are left with the only 10 student. Now here comes another problem. So in the third class, we have to fill either 18 student, or if there are no 18 student are not 18, lesser than that. So we need to fill at least 8 student, and we then can pass the remaining student to the next class. So we have first set 2 student in the first class, 8 student in the second class, total 10, and then 8 student into the third class, total 18, and now 2 student to the outer class. So this is basically electronic configuration. Sophisticatedly, it is called the octave rule. So let's understand it for the oxygen. So oxygen have atomic number 8, and it also have total 8 electrons, and we need to configure it. We need to fill its electron into the different shell. So in first cell, we can put only 2 student. So out of 8, we have filled 2 student. So the remaining is 6. Remaining are 6, and we have to fill on the next class. As since we only have the 6 student, so we have to fill on the next class. Okay. So the at the outer class of the oxygen, there are 6 student or electrons, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. To complete its 8 electron, so oxygen need extra 2 electrons. So it will seek help from other element. So here is hydrogen traveling, moving around the oxygen. So oxygen asks for the hydrogen. So I have an extra electron, as you have an extra electron, so we can share our electrons. In that sharing, we can have 2 electrons. Hydrogens, this is the hydrogen's first class. So in the first class, there could also be 2 electrons, but hydrogen have only 1 electron. So if hydrogen shares, hydrogen itself will have 2 electrons, and oxygen also can satisfy its 8 student demand. So hydrogen agrees to that. And here is another hydrogen who also agrees in the same condition. So now hydrogen have their 2 electrons in their cell, and oxygen, who needed only 2 electrons in their outer orbital, is also satisfied. So now oxygen has 8 electron in their outer orbit. So the condition is fulfilled. Okay. So this is the way how a chemical compound is formed in the chemistry. Now, what actually happens? Hydrogen has greater electron affinity, as it is a powerful electron atom, you can say, as compared to the hydrogen. So when they share electrons, so hydrogen plays some kind of, we can say, so it has a greater electron affinity, so it pushes the electron towards himself from the hydrogen, and from this hydrogen too. In that way, it has greater electron availability as compared to the hydrogen. So this becomes a polar, a kind of a tension, we can say. Oxygen uh, take the electron towards itself, and it become, we can say, partially a negative. So it creates a pole. So this is a favorable condition when we add another solution, another solute which have the same composition, like the same structure, the tensioned structure. So the bond easily get broken down, and they mix themselves. So the old bond break down, and the new bond is formed. This is called the polarity. So this is the only reason why water is the natural solvent, because it is a polar covalent bond. Why covalent bond? So it asks initially to the hydrogen so that we can share. This is a covalency. Later it dictated. So it take hydrogen's electron more closer to itself. So it become a polar. So is it do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's why we call the substance is a polar covalent substance. So water can dissolve any substance who is formed by the covalent type of the electron sharing. Also, it can dissolve the compound who is formed by the ionic kind of the sharing. So in case of the NaCl, they are formed by a ionic kind of attraction. So Na is positive, Cl is negative. So positive, negative attract. This is ionic compound. While we talk of the H2O, it is a covalent. So hydrogen share electron and the oxygen do share the electron. It is formed of the covalent. So due to its covalent nature, it can dissolve covalent compound into itself and also polar compound into itself. And this is one of the unique substance molecule we can say exist in the nature who can do who can dissolve these both the polar and covalent substance. That's why it is a natural which has a wider dissolvability as compared to the other substance. Although this was a little bit deeper, I tried to teach you the molecular level of the chemistry. So hope it is understandable to you. So we have understood how the water is a natural universal solvent and what are the solute, solvent and solution. So what is a solute? Substance that dissolve, solvent, liquid that dissolve into the solution, and solution mixture of the solute and solvent. Example, salt water which contains water as well as the salt. Now if we can summarize for the water being natural universal solvent because it is a polar, it dissolves more substances than any other liquid because of its covalency and polar covalency nature. It dissolves ionic and covalent compound we have understood. It can also dissolve ionic compound as case of the NaCl which is formed after the ionic attractions. Na is positive, Cl is negative. And the covalent substances as well, which is formed after the mutual sharing of the electrons. It help in biological and chemical reaction. We have understood this concept in the photosynthesis in plant, in our internal digestion as well. It support life function. If you don't drink water, we will die. Okay, now the last topic remains of the today's class is water pollution. So water pollution is caused by the industry waste, sewage, and plastic. So they are not only harmful for the human as well as the aquatic life. One word we often use is the ecosystem. Ecosystem basically means the interaction of different biotic and abiotic factors. Interaction for the survival. Let's consider an example of the pond. So in the pond there are fishes, medhak, frog, and the biotic factor. And there are some of the abiotic factors. So they need water, they need food. These are abiotic factor. Water is an abiotic factor. So if living thing, that is fish, interact with the non-living thing, so it take water, it is called the interaction. And together, if they are living in such a network system, we call it a ecosystem. So due to that, there are different type of diseases like cholera and typhoid, some of the common diseases. So here are some of the method we can use to save water from the pollutant. So wastewater treatment before the disposal, you can successfully dispose and kill the bacteria in the wastewater. So it do not harms the aquatic life, hence the human itself indirectly. Avoid plastic dumping. We can use the biodegradable bags. Use eco-friendly fertilizer. So we use this urea. So urea is a chemical fertilizer which harms the life living in the soil. So do you know who is Sadhguru? Jaggi Vasudev.
No, sir.
Sadhguru. Okay, he is very famous in YouTube. You might have seen sometime him. So he is from basically Tamil Nadu, I think so. So he was the person who have initiated the Save Soil movement. So he gave the logic that there are billions of life who are living in the soil, and which is indeed true. So there are different type of microorganism living in the soil. So if you are going to do some soil pollution, and the soil, if the soil lose its fertility, so there will be lesser availability of food, and there will be a complete chaotic situation. Human will start fighting each other for the food. So to avoid this, Sadhguruji says that we need to save soil. So urea is also used in the soil, which is a chemical fertilizers. It kills many of the microbes living in that particular soil. So we can use natural fertilizers. Rainwater harvesting to avoid the shortage of water, and community cleaning initiative, like the recent initiative by the India, which is the some of the recent initiative of the India, like the Namami Gange project, Clean Bharat, Swachh Bharat mission. So this is a schematic diagram of the saving water pollution. How can we purify our water with a kind of a natural setup? Although in modern technology there are so many advanced setup for the purification of water, this is some of the old natural setup. So here is a reservoir, water is taken, and this is a sedimentation tank. In that particular sedimentation tank, there are heavy boulders and pebbles. After if the water passes through, so heavy dust will remain settle down here. Over here there is a loading tank. The sedimented suspended in form of impurities can suspend over there, and this is a filtration tank, have different layer for the sedimentation of the different particle of the different size. Heavy particle is smaller and the smallest. And this is the chlorination to kill the bacteria. So we add chlorine to this particular water tank. It kills the harmful bacteria. Now we can easily drink of this water. So it has been naturally purified, except the one chemical, that is the chlorine itself. So this was the chapter all about the water and its importance. So we have successfully understood this topic. So any doubt, any question you want to ask?
I just wanted to ask that what is a universal solvent? Because it can dissolve ionic and
Covalent.
covalent
Covalent.
substances. The substances which are not nor ionic and neither covalent cannot be dissolved in water.
Yes, exactly. We can consider often oil. Oil is not dissolvable in water. Reason being, oil is highly covalent substance. So it is like carbon-carbon sharing. Two identical person are sharing. So how water is formed? It is due to different electron affinity atom. Like oxygen is powerful, and hydrogens are weak, poor hydrogen. So it dictatorshiply, we can say, take the electron of the hydrogen. But in case of the, if two carbon compound are combining, so it is purely covalent substance. So none can take the electron from each other. So such kind of the compound are not dissolvable in water, as since it is a we can say polar cum covalent substance. So we can also observe that oil, which is a purely covalent, 100% covalent compound, is not dissolvable in water. And there are many things which are not dissolvable in water. That's why I say maximum dissolvable capacity as compared to the other substances, but it is not the absolute. So we use kerosene and some of the other solvent to dissolve something like the oil and something else.
Okay, sir.
Okay, anything else you want to ask?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's end this class and let's meet tomorrow with the fresh new topic. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.